Worst individual show ever?
When you have sex on it, you know, with whipped cream and stuff like that.
Sex?
Mm-hmm.
With whipped cream. Is it okay without the whipped cream?
No.
No, you're...
No, I get embarrassed.
The most loved person in Tampa Bay Talk Radio.
I would have to say Shirley from St. Pete. She sounds like a little doll.
Shirley, most loved. Least, or actually most hated person?
I don't like to talk bad, but there's one that really gets to me. Her name is Mary Beth.
Mary Beth.
And she talks about the Palestinians and the Jewish people. She really gets to me. I don't like her at all.
The Wish You Were Here Award to a bygone colleague.
Oh, David Fowler.
He used to let you play your guitar and sing, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
The Good Riddance Award to a bygone colleague. Ellery.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Ellery. Who could ever forget Ellery? The all-time favorite topic?
Religion. You do a fantastic job on that. And if they would listen, they would learn a lot, because I certainly did from you, Bob.
The all-time least favorite topic?
I would have to say wrestling.
Wrestling?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my gosh. Could learn a lot from those shows, too. Thank you, Betsy.
You're welcome.
Take care. One lot of weights in Pinellas. Gary in Tampa. Gary, you remember the dog meat club, you subhuman pig? That hurt. Ken in Tampa. Ken, you're on the air at 970 WFLA. Ken? Hello, Ken. Pam in Tampa. Pam, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello, I'm glad I'm not a subhuman pig.
Well, so am I, Pam.
I would like to participate in your poll.
The overall best talk station in the last 10 years in this market.
I have only been here for 3, but
well, that's okay. What you've heard.
I prefer WFLA.
Okay, the overall worst station.
TKN. Garbage.
Now you're talking. Unfortunately, nobody's listening. All-time best talk show host.
Oh, gotta be Paul Gonzalez.
Gotta be Paul G. Golly Whiz.
I loved him.
The all-time worst talk show host.
Who was that fella that used to be on before Jack Wheeler? He's got the John Eastman.
John
Yucko.
Eastman. John London Bridge is falling down. Eastman. Okay, the best caller of the decade.
Lionel.
Lionel?
Uh-huh.
Best caller?
I like him.
The worst caller of the decade.
Rocky. I think in some ways he's right, but in most he has a real crass way of showing it.
The best individual show ever that you've heard in this market.
I tend to agree with one of your previous callers. Last year's Christmas show was really, really good.
The worst individual show you have ever heard.
One of the ones that you did at PLP before you left. You did nothing but let people snort in the radio, and it was awful.
The original Chat with Bob show.
Yes.
Okay. The Wish You Were Here Award to a bygone colleague.
Gotta be. Can I give 2 of them?
Well, I'll let you give 2, but I'm only going to count the first one.
Mike Levine and Paul Gonzalez.
Mike Levine gets it. Paul Gonzalez gets the sentiment. The Good Riddance Award.
Oh, God. Jack Ellery.
Jack Ellery. Hack Ellery.
He was too much for Philadelphia. Should have stayed there.
A lot of people thought that, including Jack. The all-time favorite topic in talk radio.
I like religion if it's done right. I don't care for the way some of the people have handled it.
The all-time least favorite topic in talk radio.
Oh, God. I can't. I'm drawing a blank.
Another opinion. No problem. That's okay. I thank you very much, Pam.
Hey, take care and have a good weekend.
I'll try. You too.
Bye.
Clearwater's Steve, welcome to the nominating process here.
Hi, Bob.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Your nomination for overall best talk station.
PLP.
PLP. The overall worst talk station.
TKN.
The all-time best talk show host.
Uncle Tim Coles.
Listen. No, I think you misunderstood. This is the all-time best talk show host.
Okay. Well, Tim Coles.
Tim Coles. Tim's grandchildren. The all-time worst talk show host.
I got to go with Art Deneen.
Art Deneen. Who could ever forget Art Deneen? Almost everyone who ever heard him.
Yeah.
Okay, Deneen. The best caller of the decade.
Well, Rocky.
Rocky gets the worst caller of the decade. Carolyn from Newport Richie.
That's the one.
The best individual show ever.
The Christmas show with Tim Coles and David Fowler years ago, 4 or 5.
That was actually a New Year's Day show.
Well.
Okay, that's the one you meant, though.
Holiday show, wasn't it?
Okay,
Yeah, that's the one.
New Year's show. TC. DF gets a vote. The worst individual show ever.
Liz Richards and the Slave Day show.
Okay. The best loved person in Tampa Bay talk radio, on or off the air, caller, host, whatever.
I'd say Tim Coles.
Tim Coles, the best loved person. The most hated person affiliated with talk radio in Tampa Bay.
Well, I guess it would be Bob Lassiter.
Lassiter. The Wish You Were Here Award.
Dan DeFreitas.
Well, he still is here.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I can well understand why you thought he left. He's on TKN, but he still is here. This would be people who are no longer on the air.
I would say David Fowler, then.
David Fowler, Wish You Were... The Good Riddance Award.
Oh, gee. Good riddance to Harry Cup.
Harry Cup. H-A-R-O-C-U-P. Good riddance, Harry. All right. The all-time favorite topic in Tampa Bay talk radio.
Religion.
The all-time least favorite topic.
Wrestling.
Wrestling. Oh, my gosh. Well, what do you want? You like Tim Cole. I thank you very much, my friend.
Thank you. Bye.
Be good. We'll take a break and return. Bob in Sarasota. Bob, what a privilege this is for you to make nominations into the Tampa Bay Talk Show Hall of Fame.
Okay, I've got my list for you already written out.
Overall best station.
The worst station, WTKN.
No, the overall best.
Oh, I'm sorry, WFLA.
Okay, well, we already know you're worst.
Absolutely.
All-time best talk show host.
Paul Gonzalez.
Paul G. Golly Whiz.
Yep.
All-time worst talk show host. Freddie Mertz. Best caller of the decade.
The Airstream. Mr. Airstream.
Mr. Airstream, who really only made one call and gets best caller of the decade. I can't argue with that. Okay, worst caller of the decade.
Rocky.
Okay. Best individual show ever.
Brain Damaged Snowbird.
Brain Damaged Snowbirds. Worst individual show ever.
Chat with Bob.
Chat with Bob gets another vote. Best loved person in Tampa Bay talk radio.
Paul Gonzalez.
Paul G. Golly Whiz. Most hated person in talk radio.
Freddie Mertz.
Freddie Mertz. Coming up close behind Lassiter on that one. The Wish You Were Here Award.
Paul Gonzalez.
Paul G. Golly Whiz. Why aren't you here? The Good Riddance Award.
Jack Ellery.
Jack or Hack Ellery, as most people know him. The all-time favorite topic in Tampa Bay talk radio.
Wrestling.
Wrestling. All right. L-I-N-G. Okay. All-time least favorite topic.
Liz's show with the...
No, topic, not an individual, an across-the-board topic.
Okay, the high school girl there, the black high school girl there.
No. That was an individual topic.
Okay.
Overall topics. Religion, the all-time least favorite topic.
Right.
I thank you very much, Bob.
Thank you.
Take care. Roland at a payphone somewhere in Clearwater. Hi, Roland. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello, Bobski. How you doing?
Doing fine. You ready?
Yes, sir.
WTKN will point out that Roland is calling, of course, WFLA.
You've been kicking the dog, and you know it ain't going to win, so I'm just giving it one vote because it's the only one it's going to get today. I don't really think that, but...
The overall worst station.
You gave a list of 4 stations.
FLA, NSI, PLP.
That one. NSI. Never heard of it, so it's got to be the worst.
Okay. The all-time best talk show host.
Uncle Dick Norman.
Uncle Dick Norman, Gravel Gertie. The all-time worst talk show host.
This one was tough, but I think Rich Lizards.
Okay, Lizards.
Is the worst.
Okay.
I trade her for Mertz, really.
Sneaking up on Mertz there. The best caller of the decade.
It was funny that last caller said Rocky and Mr. Airstream for the best and worst when it's the same guy. But the best, I think, because the most famous would be Rocky.
Okay, the all-time worst caller of the decade.
Has to be Shirley.
Shirley.
Yeah.
Yes, it's wife from St. Petersburg. 1 vote. The best show ever.
Had to be Ted Webb's Does Penis Size Really Matter? I think.
Ted Webb's penis show.
I guess.
The worst individual show.
And the worst ever, it was Fred's Fart Show. That was the worst.
Fart with Fred. Okay, Fart with Fred. Okay, the best loved person in Tampa Bay talk radio.
Has to be Ted Webb.
Has to be
No one else. He's a
Ted
lovable guy.
with 2 D's, Webb.
With 2 B's.
The most hated person in Tampa Bay talk.
I think it's TJ.
TJ. The caller TJ.
Yeah.
The Wish You Were Here award.
I don't believe this one really, but it has to be Rick Samples.
Rick, you're trying to screw up the survey. Samples.
Well, he just lost his job. You cut him a break. You know what I mean?
He didn't have a job. He was over at TKN.
Oh, that's
The
true.
Good Riddance Award.
David Fowler.
David Fowler gets a vote in the Good Riddance category.
I couldn't stand the guy. It's open phone. You can call me about whatever you want. I hated the guy.
All-time favorite topic in Tampa Bay talk radio.
Well, even though it's after the election, I would say politics. I like talking politics, even though I'm sick of it right now.
All-time least favorite topic.
Bob Lassiter's The Ball Is in Your Court.
I've only done it once. That's
Well,
not
you
a-
do open
Come on.
phones all the time, Bob.
I do not do open phones all the time. I do
Bob.
open phones about 20% of the time.
That's once a week. And then
Yes.
a couple weeks ago you did open phones, The Ball's in Your Court, and then the
That
Friday
is-
show. You did 3 in 1 week.
May I put down open phones because the ball in your court is not an all-time least favorite Tampa Bay topic. I'm the only one that does it. And I've only done it once.
All right, and change it to religion. I hate listening to religion shows then.
Jeez.
But I'm just saying you did open phones 3 times 1 week. You just gave them different names, but it was open phones.
Look, everybody
And then
does
what's
open
wrong?
phones all the time. They give it different names.
Well, that's why I gave Fowler the...
Hey, birth control, yes or no? How do you stand on it? Now, you know, come on, that's open phones.
Okay, change it to religion. I'm sorry. I'm just saying that's why I voted for good riddance for Fowler, because that's all it ever was. This is open phones. Kind of like McClellan. But, you know, you always talk about his idiot, you know, whatever he thinks of.
Open phones with Save and Sam. Okay, as long as it's in favor of right-wing lunatic. Thank you very much, Roland.
Thank you, Bobski.
One lot standing by. Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, the overall best talk station in the last decade in talk in this town.
The old WPLP.
The old WPLP, running neck and neck with the current WFLA. The overall worst station,
The new one, the WTKN.
the WTKN. Now you're talking station to yourself. The all-time best talk show host.
I'll have to go with David Fowler.
David Fowler. The all-time worst talk show host.
Freddie the Mertz.
Freddie Mertz. I mean, do you realize there have been scores and scores of people who have done talk shows in this market? And Freddie is way out in front, even beating Lizards.
I can believe
Best caller of the decade.
it. The worst caller?
Best.
Oh, the best. That's Lud. Can set him on fire.
The worst.
That's Carolyn from Newport Richie.
Carolyn from Newport Richie. The best individual show ever.
Well, I've got a couple, but I think your Mr. Airstream was absolutely one of the most hilarious things I have
Well,
ever heard.
that was a call. That wasn't a show.
Oh, the show. Then that would be that New Year's Day show that you were talking about that David Fowler was on. That was a great show.
Okay.
Yeah.
The worst individual show ever.
Freddie Farts' show.
Fart with Freddie.
Right.
The best loved person in Tampa Bay talk.
It's kind of a tie between Uncle Sam and Tim Coles. Unless I say Sam.
Saving Sam, the best loved.
Yep. These old ladies just love him to death.
The most hated person.
Well, I guess probably Bob Lassiter. Not by me, but by many.
Lassiter pulls away from Mertz in that category. The Wish You Were Here award.
The Wish You Were Here?
Uh-huh.
David Fowler.
The Good Riddance award.
Oh, Freddie. Goodbye, Freddie.
Goodbye, Freddie. I've changed this category. Used to be all-time favorite topic, but we've decided to make a change, and, you know, what the hell, it's my show, even if it doesn't say so at the top of the page. Your all-time favorite news person.
Nude or news?
News.
Oh, okay. That's a little different. I was going to say Liz Richards, but if you're talking about news person is her ex-husband. I think he does a magnificent job.
Don Richards, okay. The all-time least favorite news person.
I can't pronounce her name. She's on in the morning.
Roger Christie.
No. Lady Latrell, sounds like a Polish sausage. What is that?
Latrell Polish sausage.
Yeah, yes, something. I can't think of her name.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care, Ron. We're in the line here this afternoon. The all-time worst.
The worst is Savin' Sam McClellan.
Savin' Sam gets a vote for the Why would you say that?
His political views are just too much. You can't do every single show on politics. It just gets very sickening.
The best caller of the decade.
Jacob.
Jacob gets his first vote. The worst caller of the decade.
Valrico Cookie.
Valrico Cookie. I hadn't anticipated him. Let me write that in. Valrico Cookie. Gosh, did you hear that?
Guy's brain dead.
The best individual show ever.
Best show ever. I liked your show with Jacob as your guest in the studio. That was nice.
Worst individual show ever.
I think Liz Richards' Deadbeat Dad's show was the worst show.
Okay, write that in. Best loved person in Tampa Bay Talk Radio.
I think that Dick Norton probably is right up there with the
lovable Dick Norton, the most hated person.
Savin' Sam.
Savin' Sam gets his second vote. The Wish You Were Here Award for fallen colleagues.
I think David Fowler would be a nice touch.
The Good Riddance Award.
Freddie Mertz, for sure.
For sure. And the all-time favorite news person.
I think I like Gary McHenry.
Good. Jeff in Tampa. Jeff, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob.
Are you ready, Jeff?
I'm ready to go.
Overall best talk station.
Oh, WFLA.
All-time best talk show host.
Oh, it'd have to be you, Bob.
Yes, it would have to be.
Yeah.
The all-time worst talk show host.
I'll be looking for that check in the mail. What was that one now?
All-time worst talk show host.
Rich Lizard, no doubt.
Lizards. Best caller of the decade.
That's a tough one. I think I'm going to have to go with TJ.
TJ for best caller. One vote for best, one vote for worst. Worst caller of the decade.
It's probably the Lud impersonator.
One vote. All right, we move on now to the best individual show ever.
I'd have to say your show on the minimum wage back in August, I believe it was.
The worst individual show ever.
Well, I'm going to have to go with the majority. The fart with Fred was out of control.
Fart with Fred. Actually, that isn't the majority, but it now has pulled out in front. Best loved person in Tampa Bay Talk Radio.
Oh, Al Gardner.
Al Gardner. Gardner and Company in the morning. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Oh, most hated person in Tampa Bay Talk Radio.
Most hated?
Caller, host, general manager, program director, secretary, board operator, engineer.
I would hope it would have to be Rich Lizard again.
Vote for. Well, it's not actually again. I don't think she's. No, she's. No, this is her first vote in that category.
It is? Oh.
Yeah, so let me write that in. The Wish You Were Here Award. Opinion. The Good Riddance Award.
Liz Richards, once again.
It's for someone who is no longer here that you're glad is no longer here.
But if enough of us go with that...
No, sir. The Good Riddance Award is for someone who is no longer here.
Well, we'll go with Fred then.
A vote for Freddie. Thank you very much. Take care there, Jeff. God, it's like pulling teeth sometimes. You guys think this is easy, huh?
Yeah, he just sits back and does a poll, big deal.
Mike in St. Petersburg. Mike, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob. First of all, I'd like to ask, where is this Hall of Fame going to be located? I'd love to visit.
It will be in the lobby.
Great.
It'll be in the lobby behind the dead plants.
Oh, okay. I'll know right where to find it.
Okay. The overall all-time best talk show host.
Fowler.
A vote for David Fowler. All-time worst talk show host.
Without a doubt, Freddie Mertz.
A vote for Freddie here, but a short time, but certainly did leave a lasting impression in this and several other markets. Best caller of the decade.
Mr. Airstream.
Mr. Airstream now has 2 votes. Worst caller of the decade.
Worst caller, Shirley, the one that giggles.
Shirley from St. Petersburg. Best individual show ever.
I think it would be your reminiscence of Christmas. Excellent show.
Worst individual show ever.
Worst show, rich lizards on freeloading ex-husbands that won't pay their child support.
Best loved person in Tampa Bay Talk Radio.
Tim Coles.
Tim Coles.
Oh, dear.
Most hated person.
Bob Lassiter.
The Wish You Were Here Award.
Art Deneen. He's in Arizona, isn't he? He was a funny man. Very funny.
No, Art lost the gig in
Arizona,
and then he went to Cincinnati and lost that one, too.
Oh, is he selling fishing lures now?
I have no, probably he's out on the street carving scrimshaw into people's Bic lighters. The Good Riddance Award.
Good riddance, Freddie Mertz.
Good riddance, Freddie. Well, I thank you very much, Mike.
All right.
Be good. Ooh. Elizabeth in Pinellas Park. Elizabeth, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello. You. Bob Lassiter.
Okay. The all-time worst talk show host.
Oh, the all-time worst? Well, I'd say Liz Richards.
Liz Richards. The best caller of the decade.
The best? I like Rocky.
The worst caller of the decade.
Oh, the Lionel.
That Lionel. Oh.
Yeah.
2 votes for worst caller of the decade. Best individual show ever.
Your Christmas show.
Worst individual show ever.
The Liz Richards show about, the fighter. I can't think of his name now. You know, the fighter in Robin.
Okay, Liz and Robin and Mike.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. The best loved person in Tampa Bay Talk Radio.
Well, I have no opinion on that. I really don't.
No opinion. The most hated person.
Freddie Mertz.
Freddie Mertz. The Wish You Were Here Award.
Dave Fowler.
The Good Riddance Award.
Freddie Mertz.
Freddie Mertz. I thank you very much, Elizabeth.
You're welcome.
Take care. Off we go now. Oh, that, by the way, gives us a line in. Off we go to Marco in Tampa. Marco, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Here but a few months. Already the scourge of every talk show listener in the market. The all-time best talk show host.
Yes.
Of course. It's a silly question, isn't it? All-time worst talk show host.
Mertz.
Mertz gets another vote for all-time worst. Wait till you hear the list of people who have worked in this market, and everybody's jumping on Freddie. The best caller of the decade.
Jacob from Clearwater. Rocky, while he's a genius, he's still an idiot.
Okay. The best individual show ever.
Probably your Sermon on the Mount.
Sermon on the Mount. Okay.
Is that the first one?
Yeah, I gotta write that one in there. Worst individual show ever.
Liz on Tyson.
Liz, Robin, and Mike. The best loved person in Tampa Talk Radio.
Oh, Flacky.
Flacky gets a vote. Flackie. 1 vote. Notice you haven't gotten any yet, Syria. Most hated person. Now you'll probably get one.
Mertz.
Mertz. A vote for Mertz. The Wish You Were Here Award.
David Fowler.
David Fowler. The Good Riddance Award.
Mertz.
Mertz. Get rid of Mertz. I thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
Be good, Marco.
I will.
20 minutes after the hour of 1 o'clock. Caller, the curator of the Tampa Bay Talk Show Host Hall of Fame, none other than Michael Serio, because Michael is one of the very few people that has been here virtually from day one, way or another, will read to you a list, and it's only a partial list, we're still working on it, of all of the various different people who have done talk shows in Tampa Bay. Michael will also read to you a list, because there are at least 2 other stations that have not been mentioned at all that have done talk at some time during the last 10 years, and Michael will read that list as well. Michael will dab at his eye with a tissue while reading that list in memory of all of the folks who once dreamed that perhaps that station would be the one to make it. Steve in St. Petersburg. Steve, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. The all-time best talk show host.
Uncle Dick.
Uncle Dick Norton. All-time worst.
Lionel.
Lionel, all-time worst talk show host. Let me write that in. We didn't anticipate that. Best caller of the decade.
Rocky.
What makes Rocky the best caller, by the way?
He just cracks me up. You know, I sit there laughing. You know, especially when you get Captain Jack on with him, and those two Southern boys just start yelling and yowling at each other.
Worst caller of the decade.
Carolyn, boring.
Best individual show ever.
Oh, probably you're not going to like this, but Chat with Bob. That thing makes me laugh.
Worst individual show ever.
Oh, probably Liz with Deadbeat Dads. For any other Liz show you care to.
Best loved person in Tampa Bay Talk Radio.
Uncle Dickie.
Takes the lead as most lovable. Most hated person in talk radio.
Oh, probably Liz.
Liz Richards, the Wish You Were Here Award.
I'll have to go with Mike Levine.
Mike, why don't the people of Tampa Bay call the show Levine? The Good Riddance Award.
Mertz.
Special tribute to all of those who have come and gone.
I feel like we need some cheerful music for this.
Well, wait a second.
Do we have anything over there?
No, I got my kazoo.
Okay.
Okay, let's do cheerful music. All right.
Italian
I know that one.
That'll work. Shall I begin?
Please.
Okay, this is, of course, not a complete list, but a few of the people who have come and gone through the halls. Dave Scott, Drew Hayes, John Eastman, David Gold, Richard Shanks, who mentioned that he bared his hiney every time he was on the air, Tim Coles, John Eastman Jr., Robert Van Amberg, Lincoln Carlisle, Rosemary Haddad, Jeff Brooks, Ken Charles, Chris James, Rick Samples, Ed Hartley, boy, that burns just saying it, Mike Levine, Pat Fulton, Jack Wheeler, the other Jack Ellery, Chuck Harder, David Fowler, Dr. Bob Moore, Stan DeFreitas, Gil Whitten, Sam McClellan, Liz Richards, Bob Lassiter, Dick Norman, Lionel, Carol Sudler, Gordon Bird, Mark Edwards. Should we tell who that really was?
Oh.
Mark Edwards.
Tell who it really was?
Yes.
Sure.
Oh, it was our former general manager,
Mark Brewer.
Mark Brewer, right.
Right.
And that was his middle name. Scott Paul. Continue with the music, please. Ken James. Art Deneen. The other Art. Snow. Harry D. Cup.
Wait a second. Both of them tried to snow us. Which one are you talking about now?
Take your pick.
Oh, okay.
Did I say Harry Cup?
You just did.
Okay, Harry Cup, Ed Benedict, Paul Gonzalez, Bill Calder, Freddie Mertz, Stan Majors. A couple of callers made it on the air as talk show hosts. Carolyn in Newport Richie, Peg in Tampa. I don't know what name he's using on WTKN in the afternoons. Darn it, I don't get to listen. It's either Jay Morgan, Jay Bird, or Jay Marvin. One or the other. That's him. You know who he is. Maybe you don't. Ted Webb, Nancy Donnellan, Jim Lauk, and our own morning man, Al Gardner.
What a list. And now would you be so kind as to read the list of stations in the last 10 years who have attempted to do talk?
Well, there was the building shaking. WFNN.
Must be the gods. Apparently they don't have a sense of humor.
WWQT, here and on the QT. That was an automated talk show station.
Automated talk? You mean I wasn't the first?
No.
Son of a gun.
You copying someone again.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm just a master thief.
And years and years and years ago, the old WINQ.
INQ. Now you're talking on INQ.
Well, I don't think very many people did.
God, it doesn't have the right ring to it.
It's Sefner's radio.
I love the automated talk show.
Was?
Just fantastic.
Morning Drive was automated. Automated
Morning
news.
Drive was automated.
Morning News Block.
That's where TKN got the idea. Let's go to Steve in St. No, that's not right, is it? Steve in St. Petersburg, is that correct? No, okay. Well, let's make it Orrin in Temple Terrace. Sure, we'll give Orrin a shot. Hi there, Orrin.
Good afternoon, Bob.
Are you ready?
Oh, am I ever.
Overall, best station.
News Radio 970 WFLA.
Overall, worst station.
At your service, WTKN.
Up your service. Up your service. All-time best talk show host.
Oh, boy, that's a tough one.
I don't think so.
Well, I'll have to say you, Bob.
Yeah, you're damn right you'll have to say me if you ever want to get on this station again. All-time worst talk show host.
Mertz.
Mertz. I mean, you just... Did you hear that list that we just went through?
Yes.
And you still want to give it to Mertz?
Still want to give it to Mertz.
Best caller of the decade.
Best caller of the decade. Mr. Airstream.
Mr. Airstream with 3 votes. Worst caller of the decade.
I think his name is Richard. He calls from Clearwater a lot, and he always opens up with a quote. At 15 minutes after conception, the baby can, recognize the entire Declaration of Independence.
The guy that likes to blindside people from Clearwater.
Yeah.
Funny, he never calls the show. He's never called here. Wonder why, yeah. Best individual show ever.
Oh, it has to be this past July's Lassiter group.
The Lassiter group, the new Lassiter group.
Yeah.
Okay, new Lassiter group. Seem to have a little bit of a personal interest there. Worst individual show ever.
I think it had to have been Liz's Deadbeat Dad show.
Liz's Deadbeat Dad's show. Any particular one? No, okay, well, the best loved person in Tampa Bay Talk Radio.
David Fowler.
David Fowler gets his first vote for D. Fowler. 1 vote. The most hated person in Tampa Bay Talk Radio?
Again, Mertz.
Mertz. God, it sounds like you're burping, when you said Mertz. The Wish You Were Here Award.
David Fowler.
The Good Riddance Award.
Mertz.
Mertz, yes. Oh, excuse me. Mertz. Oh, excuse me. Thank you very much, Oren.
Okay.
1 line open in Tampa. Hi, Dave. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob. It's Dave.
Dave, right, in Tampa.
Right. I had to do that.
But still be TKN. All-time best talk show host.
Has to be you.
Has to be. Yes, it does have to be.
Without a doubt.
There's nothing in this market. All-time worst talk show host.
Freddie Mertz.
Mertz, excuse me. Best caller of the decade.
I'm split between...
Be careful, I'm going to mark down the first one you say.
It had to be either Lud or Mert from Mulberry.
Lud. Excuse me again. Worst caller of the decade.
Definitely, without a doubt, Carolyn.
Carolyn, without a doubt. Best individual show ever.
It was your show with the foursome with Carolyn, Rocky.
The original Lassiter group. Lassiter group. Worst individual show ever.
Another without a doubt is Farting with Freddie.
Fart with Freddie. I missed that show. Most hated person in Tampa Talk.
You are again.
Hold tight. We have to break for a news bulletin. I'll be right back with you. Thank you, Charlie, for... I think we ought to kill the bearer of that. Let's go back to... grief, I forget where I was. Oh, there you are. Okay, you're still... No, you're not there. Okay, didn't get a chance to finish. I guess he didn't understand I was coming back to him. It's, win some, lose some. Joe in Odessa, I'm glad you called. I just got your message this morning, which is why I didn't call you last evening.
Oh, okay.
Hello, Joe. Are you ready?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Okay. All-time best talk show host.
Has to be you.
Has to be me. Of course it does, Joe. Come on. All-time worst talk... excuse yourself, would you please, Joe? Grief. Best caller.
I get a kick out of Lud. I really do.
I get a kick out of Lud. Worst caller.
Worst caller. Valrico Bob. I can't stand him.
Val has 2 votes. Puts him in the same category with Lionel and Shirley from St. Petersburg. Best individual show ever.
The Christmas show.
Worst individual show ever.
Well, I'd have to... It was a guest you had. That it was the worst. I don't think you guys knew it, but you had this retired wrestler or boxer or something.
Oh, yeah,
like that.
Gorgeous
the
George.
The guy was deaf. As a guest.
That was the least of his problems. Gorgeous George. Yeah, that was a fun hour. Okay, yeah, that was a real fun hour. Best loved person in Tampa Bay Talk.
I would think it would be Webb.
Webb. Teddy, cuddly, adorable
Yeah, he just
Webb.
doesn't say anything wrong. He just don't really do anything.
You didn't hear his penis show,
He's
huh?
a likable guy.
Most hated person. Mertz. Ah, yes. God, it feels good. You Were Here Award.
David Fowler.
Goes out to David Fowler. The Good Riddance Award. Mertz. Oh, God, the place is going to be filled
I'm doing
with
that pretty good, ain't I?
plaques, made out to Mertz. Ah, gee willikers. Thank you, Joseph. John in Zephyr Hills, all-time best talk show host.
David Gold.
David Gold, all-time worst talk show host.
Jack Ellery.
Best caller of the decade.
Captain Jack.
What makes Captain Jack the best caller?
Well, he takes you too seriously when you're, just driving him crazy. I loved when you used to call him Jackie.
Worst caller of the decade. I'd forgotten about that.
You had forgotten about the worst caller is Ludd.
Ludd gets his first. The Ludd impersonator has one vote, but the real Ludd has one vote now as worst caller of the decade. Best show ever.
David Gold's show on the Minces.
Gold's stolen show. Mince is.
He had people going that they were real little animals that people used to.
Well, you have to understand who listened to Gold. Worst show ever. Individual.
Any Ted Webb show on wrestling.
A web wrestling show. Web wrestling. Okay. Come in here and tell Macho Man the next time he's on with. Best loved person in Tampa Bay Talk Radio.
You're gonna drop dead. Tim Coles.
Tim Coles gets his third vote, which ties him with Ted Webb and Dick Norton as the most loved, the most hated in Tampa Bay Talk Radio.
The most hated?
Yeah.
Would have to be my friend Ellery.
Hack Ellery. All right. The Wish You Were Here Award.
The Wish You Were Here Award's got to go to David Gold.
The Good Riddance Award.
Jack Ellery.
Donna in Brandon. Donna, you're on there at 970. Are you ready, Donna? I'm best talk show host.
Lassiter.
Lassiter, of course. A silly question. All-time worst talk show host.
Liz Richards.
A vote for Liz, even considering that list that Michael went through. Best caller of the decade.
Carolyn.
Worst caller of the decade.
Jacob.
Best individual show ever.
Your last night in PLP.
Last PLP show.
Do you remember it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure I do. Okay, write that one in. Worst individual show ever.
Liz spending a Sunday afternoon with her New York travel agent talking about Africa.
Loved person in Tampa Bay Talk.
David Fowler.
Your second vote there for David. Most hated person.
Sam McClellan.
She Were Here Award.
David Fowler.
Riddance Award.
Tim Coles.
Do a show like this. There are actually several reasons for it, but one of them is because it drives the other guys in the business berserk. And right now, almost for sure, standing around a radio at the end of a dirt road somewhere over there in Seminole are a whole lot of guys saying, well, yeah, sure, FLA's getting all the good votes because, it's all the people that listen to FLA that are calling in. I might point out the same to you, gentlemen. Dave, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
All-time best talk show host.
Dave Fowler.
It's a vote there. You were the guy that listened before?
I've only listened to them maybe once, and I just couldn't take it.
All-time best talk show host.
Bob, you're the best.
Yeah. All-time worst talk show host.
All-time worst talk show host. The one I'd like the least is Sam.
Saving Sam. You guys standing around the radio over there at the end of the dirt road, do you realize that you guys haven't even gotten a vote for worst talk show host? It's disgusting. Clean up your acts, man. Best caller of the decade.
Jacob.
Jacob.
Oh, boy, that guy is so cool.
Worst caller of the decade.
Cookie.
Val Rico Cookie. I also, has it dawned on you guys yet over there at the end of the dirt road that almost everybody who's being nominated for best caller or worst caller are the only people that call you people? Also, best show ever individual.
It was the one you did on it was Hate Night. And you had everybody call in to tell what they hate. That's the first time I ever called talk radio. Too bad it had to be a negative, but it was.
Hate Night at PLP.
Yeah. PLP. Do you remember that?
Well, there were many of them, to tell you the truth. Worst individual show ever.
The Liz Richards show when she cried to get some man to come in there and get her boot off her car. Get the boot off her car.
Liz's boot. Best loved person in Tampa Bay Talk Radio.
Fowler.
Most hated.
Bob, when people don't like you, they don't just dislike you, they hate you.
Puts me in a dead heat with Mertz, the Wish You Were Here Award.
I wish Fowler was in the morning over there.
A Riddance Award. Mertz. Okay. 1:53 the time. Welcome to the nominating process. Bob Bob's apparently voting by computer, and that must be what the little beeps are in the background. Charlie in West Tampa. Charlie, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Charlie.
How's it going?
Oh, reasonable, Charlie. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, you do realize this is quite an honor now to be participating in this.
It's a privilege.
The overall best station of the decade.
FLA.
FLA Radio. Fa-la-la, as we used to call them before they signed the paychecks. Overall worst station.
TKN.
TKN. All-time best talk show host.
I'd have to go with Gordon Bird.
Gordon Bird.
Right.
Gordon Bird with a Y. Best talk show. I tell you, oh man, the way he used to do those. Unbelievable. All-time worst talk show host.
I think that has to be that guy, that little punk Kevin that went on Fowler Show one day.
Little punk Kevin.
You remember that?
Yes, I do.
Does that count?
Best caller, it's written down. Okay. Best caller of the decade.
I think it has to be Robin in Largo.
Robin in Largo.
Yeah. I wish he'd call in.
Robin in Largo. Worst caller of the decade.
Definitely Rose in St. Pete.
Rose in St. Petersburg. So this is clearly why you don't have your own show. You don't understand a great caller.
I can't stand her.
Best show ever. Individual. Best individual show ever.
Your Christmas show last year.
Christmas show. The worst individual show ever.
Your Gorgeous George show.
Gorgeous George gets another vote as worst show ever. Best loved person in Tampa Bay.
You.
Me. A vote for Lassiter. Most hated person in Tampa Bay.
Richard Shanks.
Richard, drop your drawers. Shanks. The Wish You Were Here Award.
David Fowler.
David Fowler. The Good Riddance Award.
Shanks.
Shanks gets a vote in the Good Riddance Department.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you very much, Charlie.
See you, Bob.
Take care. Doug in St. Petersburg. I'm best talk show host. Uncle Dick Norton gets a vote, only his fourth, for all-time best talk show host from his brother, Al. All-time worst talk show host.
Mr. Burns.
Of the decade.
Lud.
Lud gets another vote that actually puts Lud out in front of Rocky by one vote, which is astonishing. Worst caller of the decade.
TJ.
TJ, I think TJ had a... No, actually, TJ didn't get a worst caller of the decade. Now she has a vote. Best loved person in Tampa Bay talk.
Michael Serio.
Michael Serio. His first vote in any category whatsoever. The most...
Rub it in, all right?
Most hated person.
Bob Lassiter.
Bob Lassiter. Thank you. Puts me out in front of Mertz.
Can I get one more in?
Well, it doesn't count, but sure.
Back to the worst topic.
Yes.
Polling.
Polling, okay. You know, the polling always draws. It's usually from a guy that's sat 24 minutes waiting. The Wish You Were Here Award.
Pardon?
Wish You Were Here Award.
Oh, just a radio guy.
The Good Riddance Award.
Freddie.
Mertz, excuse me. Reverend Mike in Tampa. Reverend Mike, you're on the air.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lassiter. I was just sitting around the altar sipping some holy water, and I thought I'd call you.
The overall best station.
It has to be FLA.
Doesn't have to be, sir. We are an equal opportunity basher here. Overall worst.
Does it have to be an AM station?
Well, it has to be a talk station.
TKN.
Oh, let's see here. All-time best talk show host.
You, Mad Dog.
Mad Dog Lassiter. All-time worst talk show host.
Flagellating Freddie.
Freddie Mertz, excuse me. Caller of the decade.
Set him on fire, Bob Lud.
Oh, Lud pulling out in front now of Rocky. Worst caller of the decade.
Lion.
Best individual show ever.
Your show about your neighbors when you were young.
Best loved person in Tampa Bay talk.
Yourself.
I don't think you people understand the meaning of love. Most hated person.
Freddie.
Mertz, excuse me. The Wish You Were Here Award.
Pass.
Pass. The Good Riddance Award.
Freddie again.
Mertz, excuse me. One more hour yet to go as we round out and finish up the list of nominees for the Tampa Bay Talk Show Host Hall of Fame. Hands off the microphone. I swear, 8 minutes after the hour of 2 o'clock. Welcome back, third and final hour for this Thursday, November the 10th, 1988. And in case you joined us late, first of all, where the hell were you at noon? You know, I'm in here every day at noon. I don't understand why you people can't be. Every day I come in here to do what? To sit here and somehow entertain you. But no, it's too much trouble for a lot of you people to show up at noon. Oh, we'll just waltz in at 8 minutes after 2. It'll be okay. No, it's not okay. It's an insult. I mean, I invite you people here every miserable day, right? Now, if I invited you over to my house and, I said, hey, why don't you be there at noon, and you showed up at 8 minutes after 2, I doubt we'd open the door. Mary would be highly insulted. I would be highly insulted. Probably sick Sophie on you. But now we'll just waltz in at 8 minutes after 2. So now I got to sit here and tell you what the hell we're doing. I mean, all the other people know what we're doing. All the other people were here on time. How about you? No. I was too busy. I had to go to work. I had to drive around. I had to do this. I had to do that. Excuses. This isn't the first time you people showed up late. I mean, if it was really the first time, I could, say, all right, I accept your excuse. But day in and day out, you people show up late. Oh, we'll check in with him at 20 after 12. Now make it 1:15. Now 9 minutes after 2. Have no respect. Artist, do you hear me? Anyway, not having anything else to talk about today, it dawned on me this morning that next month is the 10th anniversary of Talk in Tampa Bay. It probably isn't, but most people credit it as next month. December the 8th, I think, is the day they used to use, which was an arbitrary date since nobody could really remember for sure. It was either the 6th, the 7th, or the 8th. And whichever day was most convenient to celebrate the anniversary on is the day that they used to celebrate the anniversary. Because they used to try to talk some damn shopping mall into letting them come out and do the show in the middle of the shopping mall. And most of the shopping malls weren't too thrilled about letting them do it, at the height of the busy period. So they would say things like, well, you can come out on Thursday, December the 6th. So it would automatically be Thursday, December the 6th. Hey, it's our 9th anniversary, whatever it worked out to be. Well, anyway, I figured, well, since, talk has been going on here for about 10 years, give or take a couple, I thought we would establish the Tampa Bay Talk Show Hall of Fame. And we would have categories for best station, worst station, best host. You'll see. Just be cool. And I'll get somebody on the air and we'll go through the list and then you'll get an idea as to what we're doing. Of course, since you came in late, you don't know about the categories that I dropped. That's your own damn fault. There were some that just didn't seem to be making it, so I dropped them. But if you had been here at noon, you would have known which ones they were. No, I'm not going to tell you now. David in Town and Country. David, you're on the air at 970 WFLA. All-time best talk show host.
All-around best is Bob Lassiter.
It's a silly question, isn't it? All-time worst talk show host.
The insult to the American public, Lionel.
Best caller of the decade.
The guy that says it just like it is, Valrico Bob.
Let me write that in here. Valrico Cookie. Okay. Worst caller.
The guy that should be locked up. The blood.
Best individual show ever.
You're at tie with your Christmas show and your Miss Point A to Miss Point B to crack me up.
Worst individual show ever.
Oh, Chat with Bob's.
Chat with Bob. It's going to be best loved person in Tampa Bay Talk.
Ted Webb.
Most hated person in Tampa Bay Talk.
Liz Richard.
Wish You Were Here. The Wish You Were Here Award.
Paul Gonzalez.
The Good Riddance Award.
David Fowler.
I'm Ed in Tampa. Ed, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
I'm going to have to say Bob Lassiter.
Bud Lassinger. God, I'd forgotten all about him. The all-time worst.
It's got to be John Eastman.
The best caller.
Lud.
Worst caller.
It's a toss-up, but
remember,
I know.
Take the first one.
I know, Carolyn.
Best individual show ever.
The best individual show for me had to be the New Year's show with Fowler and Coles a couple of years ago.
Worst individual show.
Oh, now that's a tough one, but I'm going to have to put you on a pretty obscure one. John Eastman once interviewed Al Di Meola, and it was so painfully obvious that he was such Eastman was so lame, he had never heard the guy's music, and all Eastman did was talk about Eastman the whole time, and it was horrible.
The John Eastman Al DiMeola interview. I wish I had that one on tape. Best loved person in Tampa Bay talk.
Well, there's no question about that. That's Teddy Webb.
No question, it is cute little Teddy Webb. Most hated person.
The most hated person has got to be Jack Ellery, because there are so many other bad categories he can be put in.
That's true. The Wish You Were Here Award.
It's David Fowler.
The Good Riddance Award.
Mike Levine.
Phil in St. Petersburg. Hi there, Phil. The all-time best talk show host.
Well, at the risk of inflating your already swelled ego, yourself.
All-time worst talk show host.
I can't believe nobody has come up with this one yet. Doesn't anyone remember Jack Wheeler?
Actually, Wheeler does have one vote.
Oh, okay.
It came very early on. Best caller of the decade.
Best caller. Do you remember, I don't know this lady's name, but when you were having trouble getting calls and you threatened to drown the kitty?
Ah.
Whoever she was, that is the best call I've ever heard. A close second might be Mr. Airstream, but the drown the kitty lady.
We'll put Granny down. We'll know what we're talking about. Worst caller of the... Well, actually, let's make that rolling pin. Granny.
There you go.
So we really know what we're talking about. Worst caller of the decade.
Oh, Mary Ann.
It's really amazing. Actually, you guys haven't done too bad, but some of the people that you've nominated, like Rocky, four votes for Rocky. Rocky's a classic.
Oh, yeah, he's a good caller.
Mary Ann, Valrico Cookie, the Lionel impersonator. I mean, there's a classic caller. Some of you people, I really worry about you. Best show ever, individual best show ever.
Pick any Bob Lassiter Christmas show.
Okay, there are only two of them. There will be a third. Worst individual show ever.
The Joke Wheeler Jack-Off or something like that.
Ah, let's see. Wheeler's Joke-Off. Joke-Off. All right. Best loved person in Tampa Bay talk.
It's got to be David Fowler.
Most hated person in Tampa Bay talk.
It would almost have to be you.
Well, thank you. That finally puts me ahead of Mertz. The Wish You Were Here Award.
David Fowler.
Good Riddance Award.
Put down number 16 or 17 for Mertz.
One line over in Dunedin. Cindy, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob. Nice to talk to you.
Time best talk show host of the decade.
You, of course.
The all-time worst talk show host of the decade.
Let's see, Mike Levine.
Best caller of the decade.
Your Airstream man.
The worst caller of the decade.
I think her name is Beth, the anti-Semite.
Yes, actually, she works under several different names, I believe, but we'll put in Beth. The best individual show ever.
The best is last year's Christmas with Halloween as a close runner-up.
God, I thought that was an awful show.
Oh, I love it, Bob. I love it. It's my favorite holiday.
That was one of those days when I walked out of the studio, I made a right turn, went down to the end of the hall, immediately descended the steps and left the building without saying a word to anyone.
Oh, I love Halloween.
The worst individual show of the decade.
Of the decade. I would say it has to be Ted Webb's Penis Size. It's really difficult when you have toddlers and young children in the house.
Penis Size show. I know it's down here somewhere. Where is it? The best loved person in Tampa Bay. Now watch you say Ted Webb.
You. I even dream about you.
Oh, my God. That's a terrible thing to do. That's the way it started with Mary. The most hated person in Tampa Bay talk radio.
Most hated. I guess it has to be Fred Mertz.
You Were Here Award.
Stan Majors.
Stan Majors. Oh, my gosh. You've been around a long time.
Not really.
Well, Michael and I were talking during one of the breaks, and we believe, we could be wrong on this, but Michael is the curator of the Hall of Fame. We believe that Stan Majors did the very first talk show in Tampa Bay.
I think so. I was in nursing school in about 74, 76, and I used to love to listen to him.
And last but certainly not least, the Good Riddance Award.
Oh, who else but Fred Mertz?
Mertz, excuse me. Gotta get something to take care of that. 27 minutes after the hour of 2 o'clock, sitting here again reminiscing during the break with the curator of the Tampa Bay Talk Show Hall of Fame. He mentioned another nominee for the worst all-time show. And it was actually 2 or 3 of them, but that's okay. I mean, he's the curator, right? And he brought up the Jack Wheeler dating shows over at WPLP, where Jack, in a vain attempt to lower his demographics, he could have done shows on Social Security and lowered his demographics. But nonetheless, in an attempt to lower his demographics, Jack announced that he would be doing a dating show. I guess he probably did it on Thursday or Friday afternoons or something like that. And he would sit there for an hour begging and pleading with people to call. He would say things like, I could do open phones to get calls, but, I'm doing this for you guys. And then the next day, Jack would come in and do open phones and sit there and plead for calls. And he'd say things like, I could do a dating show and get a lot of calls, but Jack was a piece of work. An absolute, there's just no other way to phrase it. Tom in St. Petersburg. Tom, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
I am so nervous.
Nervous?
I am so ready.
All right, the all-time best talk show host.
All-time best talk show. I hate to do this. The heavy guy with the beard and the dark glasses.
Mike Levine.
Yes, you got it. How did you know? No, Bob Lassiter.
You hate to do it. All-time worst talk show host.
Harry Cup.
Best caller of the decade.
Rocky.
Worst caller of the decade.
Scott from Clearwater in the dress.
How could anybody leave out Scott from Clearwater, S-C-O-T-T? Best individual show ever.
Best individual show ever, probably your Christmas show.
Worst individual show ever.
This is really obscure. Tim Coles once did a show comparing English and American breakfast foods for 4 hours.
What he really used to get a lot of calls with is Tim would occasionally do shows reminiscing about vaudeville and your favorite vaudeville house. So they were great. Once I remember, oh my God, it's all coming back to me now. Probably the worst show I ever heard in this market was on a Saturday night. It was done by Art Deneen. And the premise of the show was, if you're famous, call me up. And he only got, as I can recall, one call in that hour. And it wasn't really somebody who was famous. It was somebody who knew one of the Harmonicats.
Wow.
And it really was. There are just so many. Hell, some of them are mine. There are just so many horrible shows in the last 10 years. But now that I think about it, that would have to be my personal choice. If you're famous, call me up.
Pretty awful.
Yes, it was. Where were we? Yes, the best loved person in Tampa Bay Talk Radio.
Bob Lassiter.
Oh, jeez, we guys trying to do it. The most hated person in Tampa Bay Talk Radio.
Bob Lassiter.
Oh, thank you. Now I leap out in front of Mertz. The Wish You Were Here Award.
David Fowler.
The Riddance Award.
Liz Richards. Okay.
It's not the Wishful Thinking Award. I should have had a Wishful Thinking Award, but I forgot it.
Freddie Mertz.
Mertz. All right. When I try, the next time I drag this out and try to disguise it and do it again next week, I'll put in the Wishful Thinking Award.
Does now.
Not in that category. Norton. Be glad to write that in.
Bob, can I say something else real quick?
Sure you can.
The brain dead people are back.
I know.
Have you ever seen them try to play lotto?
As a matter of fact, I'm trying to talk the station into a brain-dead snowbird visitors survival kit that would include things like paying your automobile insurance, those little plastic clip-on things that you can put on your door to keep the paint from being pitted, and others. Well, I'll give you the details on that later.
That sounds good. Watch them trying to play lotto sometime. They think they win instantly at the machine. It's unbelievable.
You mean when they get the card back with their numbers on it?
They get the card. Did I win now? And of course, they can never quite fill out 6 numbers. It's 5 or 7.
Oh, God, you guys are trying to kill me, I know. I'm going to have to hang around a lotto machine one of these days.
Come on over here to Pinellas one day and stand in Publix and watch them. It's hilarious.
There aren't any lotto machines in my immediate neighborhood. So I've never really been in a store that has them. I'll have to, find one that's got some magazines or something and be pretending to read through them and just hang around for a half hour.
It's really a laugh. It's really great. And of course, then they start arguing over the price of the lotto card. Can I give you a stamp for this $1?
So they ask for senior citizens discounts.
Discounts, yeah. Pay with Canadian coins. It's unbelievable. You got to come to Pinellas to do it, though.
Sounds to me like there's the makings of a show there.
It could be.
Take care, Tom.
Okay, Bob.
Bye-bye. John, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
How you doing, Bob?
I'm doing fine. Better all the time. It's the all-time best talk show host.
Bob Lassiter.
All-time worst talk show host.
Liz Richards.
The best caller of the decade.
Mr. Airstream.
The worst caller of the decade.
It's got to be Valrico Cookie.
The best individual show ever.
It's got to be the Lassiter Love-In.
Yeah, we did. Lassiter, you like that?
Oh, I can't believe you don't remember the Lassiter Love-In.
I've done them. Gosh, I've probably done about 700 or 800 of them. I don't remember them all. The worst show ever individually.
Well, since the anniversary is December 8th or so, can I nominate a show that will be had in the next week or so?
Well, I guess.
It will be Liz Richards' Oh, How Much Fun I Had in Africa show on Monday.
I'll allow that. The Liz Returns from Africa show. Okay. Under normal circumstances, I probably wouldn't allow you to nominate one that hadn't been done yet, but I have my suspicion. The best loved person in Tampa Bay.
I think it's Al Gardner.
The most hated person in Tampa Bay talk radio.
Oh, boy, that's a tough one. I'd say it's Blizzards.
You Were Here Award.
Wish You Were Here. David Fowler.
Riddance Award.
Mertz.
Oh, yeah, excuse me, too.
Sorry.
Bob in Town and Country. Bob, you're on the air.
All right. Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
I'm ready.
The all-time best talk show host.
There's only one. It's the Bob, Mad Dog, Get Off My Phone, You Subhuman Pig Lassiter.
I'm worst talk show host.
Ooh, David Fowler.
David Fowler gets another vote in that category. Is that another word? Where is it here? All-time worst, Mertz, Wheeler, Andrew, Kevin. No, I'm sorry, that's his first vote there, yeah.
God, I can't believe that.
Okay, Dave Fowler. He and Norton only have one each. That's astonishing.
Really?
You know, people are so mean. Best caller of the decade.
It's Jacob. He's
worst caller.
Orrin.
Orrin?
Yeah.
Orrin?
Yeah, Orrin.
Whoa. Orrin, worst caller of the decade. Best show ever. Individual best show ever.
It was Lionel's first show about 3 weeks ago.
Lionel's first show.
Yeah. That was great.
Was that the first show you've ever listened to? Lionel's first. Okay. Worst show ever.
You're not going to like this either, Bob.
Must be Lionel's second, right?
No. That was your farewell to the Snowbird.
Farewell, last year's Snowbird farewell.
Yeah.
Okay, brain damage, Snowbird farewell. What didn't you like about that?
It's just too monotonous.
Too monotonous?
Yeah, they got boring.
Whoa. Best loved person in Tampa Bay Talk Radio.
Liz Richards.
The most hated person in Tampa Bay Talk Radio.
Saving Sam.
A Wish You Were Here Award.
Richard Shanks.
Good Riddance Award. Mertz. Oh, excuse me. Yes. Oh, about some other shows. There was one I remember vividly about two and a half years ago. It was Tim Coles in one of his many incarnations at Plop. And there was a news item where Ronald Reagan had gotten into somewhat of a mild tussle with Tip O'Neill. Reagan was at a meeting and started spouting some off-the-wall unemployment figures that, were just coming out of thin air. And Tip O'Neill chastised him and said, you're full of baloney. And Tim Coles came on the air that day and railed and ranted and raved for 3 hours about Tip O'Neill's gutter language. Those were the great days of Tampa Bay radio, when calling someone full of baloney was considered gutter language. I don't understand why they call this shock radio. Frank in Lutz. Frank, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
It's an honor, Bob. It's an honor.
Ready.
Right.
Overall, best station.
The old WPLP.
How old?
The old one.
How far back do you want to go on this? Who were some of the people there at that time?
Well, when David Fowler and yourself.
Okay, 86, 87.
Right.
Overall, worst station.
The new talk show.
The new Talking Death over there.
Something.
Shorty Obramowitz and the boys.
Yeah.
The all-time best talk show host.
Mad Dog Bob Lassiter.
All-time worst talk show host.
Well, this is going to be a hard one.
Yes, it is.
There used to be a guy on at night somewhere in the mountains of Colorado, and all he talked about was the weather. Could you remember him?
Who ended up working in this market, you mean?
No, he wasn't in this. Well, it was through our stations at night. But all the guy talked about was the weather. Nothing How are you, Marge? How you been feeling?
Was Larry
how's the weather in your place?
I remember his name. I know what the guy's talking about.
Michael is saying it was Larry King's predecessor, but we can't remember his name.
Uh-huh. He had to be probably the worst, but you had a guy on there, Harry, that used to sing.
Harry Cupp.
Yeah. And he used to sing. He had his recordings. The first time he came on, he had this recording of his great singing voice. And he would just bore you to death.
But his show was comfortable. It was predictable. Every Friday he'd bring in his wife.
His wife, too, yeah, right.
It was great radio. He'd read from the newspaper, too, but unfortunately he was dyslexic. It was fantastic. The best caller of the decade.
Stan the Money Man.
Stan the Money Man. You go back quite a ways, sir.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Stan the Money Man. We still talk about him off the air.
He never calls anymore.
Okay, the best loved person in Tampa Bay Talk Radio.
Johnny Eastman, the dean of them all.
Most hated person.
Sam McClellan.
The Wish You Were Here Award.
I would say Richard Moonshanks.
Puts him right up there with Mike Levine, by the way. And last but certainly not least, the Good Riddance Award.
The what?
Good Riddance.
Oh, the Good
Glad
Riddance.
you're gone.
David Gold.
David Gold. Ted in Nokomis. Ted, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah.
Are you ready, Ted?
It's Ned.
Ned, the all-time best talk show host.
Gotta be the big guy. Lassiter.
The all-time worst talk show host.
Mertz.
Best caller of the decade.
Lud.
Worst caller of the decade.
The galloping gourmet himself, Cookie Man.
A step ahead of Lionel and Rocky. Best individual show ever.
You and Lud.
Worst individual show ever.
Only heard a little bit of it, but the Freddie Fart Show.
The Freddie Fart Show. Loved person in Tampa Bay Talk Radio.
The king of sandwiches, Jacob.
The most hated person in Tampa Bay Talk Radio.
Gotta be Freddie Fart.
Mertz. Excuse me. Here Award.
Radio guy.
David Fowler. The Good Riddance Award.
He keeps coming up.
Mertz. Yes, he does repeat on you, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Brian in Tampa. Brian, you're on the air at 970 WFLA. Yes, Brian. Are you ready?
It's been a long time.
Yes, it has. I appreciate that.
Do you remember?
Do I remember what, Brian?
The Tony's known for everything like this here, is especially the person that just got off the phone with the Freddie Flappalabity Bindin.
Uh-huh.
And I would like to make a comment on that. Just one small particular comment on the Freddie Flappalabity Bindin.
Uh-huh.
Is it possible to do it over the air?
No, it isn't. Let's see. Standing by with 52 in the afternoon, perhaps you're sitting there saying, hey, look, I'm a former talk show host in this market, or I'm a chronic caller in this market, or I'm the very short general manager of a talk station in this market who has been viciously and maliciously maligned this afternoon. And perhaps you're sitting there saying, damned, if only I had a lawyer, I'd sue. But you don't have a lawyer, do you? Yeah, you see? You're just out of luck. Well, if you had been listening to me for the last 3 months, you'd know what to do. You'd pick up your telephone, you'd dial 1-976-LAWS, put you in touch with the law line, and tell the law line what the problem is. Lassiter. Yeah, he's been getting people to call up all afternoon and say bad things about me. I want to sue the pants off him. Well, the law line would tell you that you're a bozo and probably hang up on you. Laszlo, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
It's 2:54 and I'm out of cigarettes.
Oh,
my God.
Well, then we probably want to make this quick then.
I guess the hell.
The all-time best talk show host.
Oh, Denver's own Geraldo, Freddie Mertz.
Freddie, all-time best?
I'm going with that one.
All right, I'll write it in. Hey, I've got no shame here. The all-time worst talk show host.
Oh, brother, the man that bared all. Richie Shanks.
Richie Shanks gets a vote as the all-time worst.
He was insufferable, right next to Jack Wheeler.
The best caller of the decade.
That has to be Sam McClellan. You don't think we call him, do you?
No, I'll let you get away with Mertz, but I'm not going to let you get away with, McClellan doesn't call. The best caller of the decade.
Jeez, Brandon Brainlady's one of the best, so it would have to be, oh my God, Lionel.
Lionel gets his third vote as the best caller of the decade, far behind Rocky and Lud.
If he'd tell us what the ocean meant, I'd switch it.
The worst caller of the decade.
This man did it in one call, Cleveland Wheeler.
CW, our very own Cleveland Wheeler, worst caller of the decade. Best show ever. Best individual show ever.
Oh, God, then it couldn't be West Shore Plaza Roundtable, could it? Where you offered up Tim Coles as a human sacrifice?
Well, sure it could be. All right. The worst show ever.
Oh, my God, Bob, you have to get that one.
No. Which one?
Yeah, this is something I was going to argue with you about. The time that you were watching a news clip when our troops parachuted into Honduras, and you said, boy, you know, this one kid, he was upset that there wasn't enough action, and I'm you know.
Ah, yes, I recall, yeah. Well, he was. He was very bummed out.
What did you want us to do, send in a bunch of paratrooping Mother Teresas?
Well, the point was they were never intended to be used. They were parachuted in 125 miles from the border, and they were never intended to be used.
I know,
but that's okay.
We'll start recruiting nuns if it makes you happier, Bob.
Honduras Invasion Show. Okay, one vote. It would have to be me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to win that? That doesn't make me happy at all. The most hated person in Tampa Bay talk.
McClellan. I hate him.
Savin' Sam, the Wish You Were Here Award.
Oh, God, that's got to be Rick Sample. Some old bat Sun City Center throws her Lark operator's manual at the radio, and they fire the poor guy.
The Riddance Award last, but certainly not least, Laszlo, a very important award.
Oh, my God. We'll go Freddie Mertz.
Mertz, excuse me. Well, thank you very much, Laszlo.
See ya.
Okay, see you there. Where's Norman? Is Norman wandering around the halls? Norman! Oh, here he comes. He's just wandering in the studio. You can't even hear that we're talking about him as he wanders into the studio. Norman, I thought it only proper that, you take make some nominations. The overall best talk station of the decade in Tampa Bay?
My Lord, I think you're much more qualified than I. You predate me by about a year. Neither one of us was here a decade ago. I would have to say WFLA, naturally.
WFLA, naturally. Your contract must be up for you. Overall worst station.
Well,
stop waving around the radio log out of the paper.
Overall worst talk station of the decade, WDAE.
DAE.
Mm-hmm. They didn't even try. They were the ones that brought you, who was that ridiculous woman? God, she was terrible. So boring.
The all-time best talk show host of the decade in the market.
In the market?
Yeah. Okay, I'll just note it down next to my name. Okay. The all-time worst talk show host in the market.
Very difficult, but we would have to probably say Mertz.
Mertz. Oh, excuse me. The best caller of the decade.
Oh, Ludd.
Ludd.
Unquestionably, Ludd.
Since I've got to shorten it up here, last but not least, the worst caller of the decade.
Scott in Clearwater.
Scott in Clearwater, the weasel in the dress. See you guys tomorrow at noon. Behave yourselves.